Happy MLK Day, everyone. It's Rebecca, and I'm the blogger that hitchhikes off of other blogs. Let's get right into it. We're talking about Orlando Brown. I just watched the video with him being interviewed by the Wish version of DJ Vlad. Some guy that is named Cam Capone, whom I believe is exploiting this young man. Watching this interview was so freaking disturbing. Whew. I just got to get right into it. Let me pull out my notes. First of all, I'm showing you the 14 signs of an indigo child. Months ago, back last fall, I was going to make a video about Orlando Brown because it was very insightful. And I was wondering, was he an indigo child? Because it's supposed to be these souls that came into the world to help enlighten the planet, pretty much. And some people might refer to them as just different things like star seeds. It's all kind of in the same circle, I guess. And while I'm not exactly sure if this is even 100% true, it's still interesting nonetheless. And these are the 14 signs of an indigo child. So this is why I was thinking that Orlando Brown might be one, because number one is strong-willed, old soul, free thinker, headstrong, nonconformist, passionate truth seeker, perceptive and intelligent, highly intuitive, want to change the world, empathetic and compassionate, in charge. Change-making leader, idealistic, loner, autonomous, personality, autonomous, personality. Sorry, I can't read. Highly creative, have a strong connection with nature and animals. I'm not sure if he's all of those things, but he was given some of these things on his list. And I think I thought there was another one. But yeah, I do have another one that has... Yeah, that's pretty much the same thing. But this interview, this dude was tripping. He seemed like he was on something. He really seemed like he was, I don't know, smoking something, on something. He seemed like he was high out of his mind. He was just saying a lot of things that were just incoherent. He was hardly answering questions. He would just go off on these different little tangents, and I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Just saying the most bizarre things that I can't believe anybody would even take him serious. I don't know if he's trolling at this point or if he has really lost his mind. Now, I'm not trying to say that the dude is crazy because he's speaking, what some people might say, facts, things like that. That's great. But in this interview, there wasn't really a lot of that. It was just, to me, just a bunch of gibberish almost. And it seemed like completely different from the interviews I've seen of him in the past. In the past, he would say some things that made some sense. And there was a few things he said that made sense in this interview, but it was mostly just all over the place. And, I've been called crazy before because I have very unorthodox beliefs. And just non-traditional people, that people aren't used to. And I guess it used to bother me a long time ago, but now I've accepted it. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'm crazy. It's like whatever, because honestly, I wanted to be crazy for a while because I feel like crazy people are the freest people in the world because they can say whatever they want and speak their mind and just not give a damn about what people are going to say, how they're going to respond, how they feel, because they just are free. When you're crazy, you don't care. That's why you see the quote-unquote crazy person, on the streets just talking to, whatever. And they don't care that people see them talking to themselves. He was saying so many bizarre things. He was saying that Kanye's mother was not dead, that he was with her which was really bizarre. And then he was talking about Brittany Griner's Jay-Z. Okay. I mean, she's probably like 20 years younger than Jay-Z, but go on. And before I go on, I'm going to say, like, if he's talking about people in a sense that, yeah, we all are one, like one soul, and there really is no separation, it's just separated by ego, then I could understand what he's saying. Then that makes sense to me. But that's not, unless he's doesn't want to come out flat out say it like that. The things that he was saying is just like they were the same people. Like they were, literally the same people. But then he was asked about someone else and he was like, oh, that person is that person. It was like DJ Quick or somebody. I don't remember. But yeah, but everyone else, he was like, oh, that was, Jay-Z is Brittany Griner. Takeoff is Aaron Dodson. It was just like, I just think what he said about Takeoff was really disrespectful. It reminds me of the whole Alex Jones thing where he was saying that Sandy Hook was a hoax. Now, I have my own views on Sandy Hook. I personally think it was a sacrifice. I don't think it was a hoax. Some people might call me crazy for that. But whatever. I don't even care. It's just like, it's fine. It doesn't bother me. I think that people that get upset about being called crazy, like, are really, like, out of their mind. Like, completely, like, psycho. But, sometimes you just have these ideas, and then if you, like, have some kind of sense, and your theories are, proven wrong or debunked or whatever, you come and say, okay, well, like, for instance, one time when I took shrooms, like, they told me I was Jimi Hendrix in my past life, and then I did believe it but then I came to my senses, and I was like, dude, that was just, like, me hallucinating. I was tripping. And that's almost what he reminds me of, like, and I've heard of a lot of people ending up having, like, schizophrenia and things like that after they do psychedelics. Or people that already have that is triggered from them doing the psychedelics. So some of his interview, like, what his responses gave me that vibe. And honestly, I have felt like I lost my mind, especially the last few years doing it with this whole COVID thing. So I know what it feels like to lose your mind a little bit. And it's not that, just life in general. Going through PTSD and just having trauma after trauma after trauma and dealing with so much stress and dealing with mental illness in your family and dealing with issues with alcoholism and issues with drugs. Which for me, I've, only experimented with psychedelics, but I'm not sure what the stronger things do to you, but I'm pretty sure that they can cause people to have psychotic episodes, which it almost seems like this guy was having. And it's really sad because I feel like he's being exploited. And it's really sad. He's being exploited by all of these people. Like, well, he hasn't been on DJ V Live in a long time. But you had, like, going on Adam 22, Cam Capone. All of these guys exposing him. I mean, exploiting him. They have to know this guy is mentally ill, but they're just doing this for views. And what he said about Takeoff, let me get right back to that. He could probably be sued for that if he actually had any money to sue for, which I'm not sure he really has, because I feel like he's doing these interviews for money that he's probably getting paid for them. Because he's just like, almost like he's trying to do, comedy while he's doing these interviews, in which it really wasn't that funny. I only laughed, like, off a couple of parts. And I was like, he said something about a hot dog with sauerkraut. Like, listening to Nas made him want to get a hot dog while he was in New York. And he said something at the end about some cheese, extra cheese on the cheese fries or something. But most of it, I was just kind of looking like, like deadpan. Like, what is this dude talking about? And then I was in the comments reading, and you have all of these people actually agree. They're like, yeah, he's speaking the truth. He's not crazy. He's speaking facts. And I'm like, oh my God, like, this is so crazy. Like, this is scary. what state so many people's minds are in to believe everything that they're told by people that obviously could be under some type of mental duress. Now, some of the things I agree with he's saying, he's talking about like depopulation. He's talking about like women need to learn to love themselves and that men should take care of their families. Yeah, those things were coherent and they made sense. But a lot of it, a lot of the things he was saying came off like it was magical thinking, which is what my psychiatrist told me one time when I talked to her about that. I told her I thought I might have like bipolar disorder because I was believing, like a lot of you, in these things, like in twin flames and all of that, because I had met someone and I went through this crazy experience. And I was believing that this person was my twin flame and my soulmate and this and that. I went to a psychic, they confirmed it. But now that I can step back, because I was smoking a lot of weed at the time, and I was drinking a lot. I feel like those things contributed to me believing and opening myself up to believe things that I now kind of feel are demonic in a sense because of what it did to my life and what it did to my joy and my spirit and to me physically. It was not a godly experience. It was very depressing and degrading and something that I would wish on no one and wish to never have to deal with again in my life. But at one point in time, it was almost like I was under a spell for like 5 years of my life believing. Well, I'm gonna say 4 years because I think last year I finally started to like really see things for what they were, and I'm like, this is just not it. But I'm like, this is my twin flame, and we're supposed to reunite it, whatever. If any one of you heard of the twin flame journey, you know what I'm talking about. But then I started watching videos lately about it being demonic, and I agree with what some of the bloggers were saying about it, but I digress. But my psychiatrist said, yeah, that's magical thinking. When you really want to believe things that, that probably aren't true. And some people might feel like that about the whole Indigo child thing, that that's magical thinking. I don't know, but I just know that when he was laughing, he had like the crackhead laugh. This dude that I used to know, he had like the same kind of like that whatever, the crackhead laugh. But back to the takeoff thing one more time. I keep getting distracted. That was so wrong what he said. We saw the video. I saw it of him after he was shot in the head and his brains were like spilling out and you could hear Quavo scream in agony and pain. And then I saw the interview of the nurse that tried to provide assistance. And I completely believe that he passed away. I do not believe he's faking his death and that he switched souls with someone and did all these things. I'm open to believing in a lot of things. I'm not one of those people that like, oh yeah, there's everything is. I am open to believing in things. Obviously, I believe in twin flames and I believe in Indigo child, but I don't believe in every single thing that I hear. I think that that's dangerous, and I think that's disrespectful what he said to Takeoff's family, to say that he faked his death and they're mourning and grieving right now. To say something like that is so insensitive. I just can't even understand why he would say something like that. Just doing anything for attention. And this guy, oh my God, he reminded me of my sister. I have a sister that was doing drugs, and I hadn't talked to her I think she was doing meth. And I hadn't talked to her for a long time because of the drugs, and she has like borderline personality disorder. So it's kind of hard dealing with somebody with that. But the last time I saw her, it was in 2020, and she was talking about how the fires in Portland, Oregon, which is where I live, was connected to our family and stuff like that. And I was just like, what? When I was just like, wow, she's really gone when I was listening to her talk. But then I talked to her like maybe a year after that. And I had brought up to her what she was saying about the fires because I just wanted her to elaborate more on that because it's been something I was thinking, like, what is, what is there to this? I was just curious. And she didn't even remember saying, she told me she was on drugs when she said it. And that's what it reminds me with Orlando. Drugs can make a person very delusional. They can really ruin you. Hate to sound like a after school ad, but seriously, like I have several family members that are on drugs. I've seen people lose everything. I had an uncle that was really successful and he had his own business doing like contracting. And he lost it all because he was smoking the pipe. And he was actually living like at Country Club Hills, which is really nice a long time ago. I don't know what it's like now. But he was doing really good, had, multiple cars and had all this stuff and was on top of the world. But he was a big dude too, and he did crack, and then he just ended up losing a ton of weight, losing everything, all his teeth, his dignity, everything. And he even tried to hit on me a few times, my own uncle. So this is the delusions that drugs do to people. I have another brother that's done drugs. Blow. And this dude tried to hit on me. My own freaking brother. They damage her. I was talking to him one day and he didn't even know who I was. He was like, in the middle of a conversation, he's like, who are you? So yeah, long-term use of them will affect your brain. I remember my niece told me about her mother. The one I just told you about, my sister. She told me that her brain was like mush, pretty much. And I just thought that was sad. But it's true. That's what I've seen it firsthand. I live in a city where there's a lot of people on drugs. There's a huge drug culture. You could see needles on the ground sometimes when you're out walking. You have to pay attention and be careful here because of that. And my son was walking to school and some naked woman chased him home from school and ran into a store naked. And that's what kind of people you have to deal with. There's so many mentally ill people, and not even just on drugs, just mentally ill, unchecked, and I feel like the internet is making it worse for some people because they go out there and they see these crazy freaking conspiracy theories and they're like, yeah, this like the Dave Chappelle one is a crazy one it actually had me believing it. I'm like, is Dave Chappelle a clone? Because everybody they're like, Dave Chappelle is a clone, Dave Chappelle is a clone. And I wondered that. I saw Dave Chappelle last year on 420 and he had on a t-shirt that was like almost down to his knees. And I was like, maybe he is a clown. Because it looked like a damn dress. You guys remember what he was saying about wearing dresses and stuff. So I thought that was interesting that he would wear a shirt that looked like a damn dress. So I was like, maybe he is a clown. You actually start believing it. And the freaking weed is so strong nowadays. It really is. Let me tell you, dude, I just quit. And I've been off of it for like a couple of weeks. And dude, I was getting the worst freaking migraines from stopping. I had nightmares. I had a nightmare that I tried to take somebody's life, which is something I don't think about. I wasn't watching anything in regards to that would make me have that in my mind. It was just completely out of nowhere and just vivid. But that's what happens when you quit. You go through withdrawal, you start having, it affects you physically. I feel exhausted all the time. Like, I just feel tired. Like, you hear me yawning a lot, and that's part of it. The reason why. Yeah. It is so crazy how people are just hyping him up because I feel like they're making it worse. And I don't think they really care about him or what happens to him. I mean, we saw what happened to Jaguar Wright. She was kind of doing the same thing, exposing Hollywood and its truth telling and this and that. But then she ended up getting arrested the other day, which I'm not sure what it was for. I'm thinking it was probably some type of disorderly conduct charge or something like that. And I think that she was probably under the influence of alcohol, which I've also had episodes when I was younger being arrested for disorderly conduct because I was drunk, get kicked out of nightclubs and stuff like that. So I'm not just speaking as someone just judging them and saying, oh, I'm speaking from my own experiences and what I've been through and what these are done to me. And I have not have done things that are that strong, except for like, I guess, LSD and shrooms, but nothing else, thankfully, because I have an addicted person. I probably got hooked on it. And then I'd probably be doing the same road, saying the same things. But I don't understand why people don't think there's anything wrong with this. Why they think it's okay and completely normal. And they're like, oh, he's speaking in code. And it's, why the hell does he have to speak in code? Just come out. I mean, he said everything else. And if I was the family of Takeout, I would sue the crap out of the blogger, because you're letting his content be out there saying that he faked his death and this and that, and is pain and suffering. A family trying to grieve, and then you're saying that he just faked it. Like he's not really in a casket somewhere with his body getting cold in the ground. Like, come on now. That's so disrespectful. And karma is a bitch. And he was like, Orlando Brown just saying a bunch of misogynistic things too. He was saying things that was stupid too, calling women that want to work hoes, but then saying that they wouldn't give up the ass, pretty much. So how that don't even make any sense. How are you a hoe if you're not giving? Does he know what a hoe is? Yeah, like I said, some of the things he's saying about like depopulation, yeah, I do believe that. Definitely, it is a thing. It is a real thing. But why do I have a nurse on here? I don't even know what I was gonna say about that. I should have put more stuff to my notes. He was talking about he knew Tupac. Tupac has been dead for he was probably like 2 years old or something. No, wait. I think he was born in like, oh wait, he wasn't two. So, wait, he was born in 87, so wait, he wasn't two. He was like 10 or 9. Right? So I don't think Tupac is his father. Takeoff is not his father. How could Takeoff be his father? Takeoff is younger than him. He said Michael Jackson was his father too. So he has a lot of damn fathers. Seriously. How do you have that many damn fathers, dude? What he said, I'm not a huge Kanye West fan right now just because of the stupid white supremacist things he's saying and supporting Hitler. But it's disrespectful to talk about his mother, his dead mother, in a sexual manner. Like, you have all of these celebrities just off the chain. It's just so crazy. They need to like see a therapist, seriously. Get some help. Something. Go to rehab. Because it looks like a downward spiral to me from the outside looking in. By far, I think out of all the Orlando Brown interviews I've seen, because I've seen a lot, I was really interested to hear what he has to say in the past. Like I said, I think that he says some deep things. He does throw out some gems every now and then. You're like, yeah, that was, I feel you, bro. But this one, by far, is the worst one I've ever seen. It was the worst. And he just got arrested for, like, domestic violence recently. Now, like I said, I do believe in some conspiracies. I do believe in the elite. I believe in the perversion in Hollywood and all of that. He used to be exposing that kind of thing. But now he's, like, talking about free R. Kelly. Free R. Kelly. He can't say free R. Kelly and then try to come against Disney for the exploitation that they've done and the molestation that they've done. And not just Disney, Hollywood, for what they've done to children, to child actors, but then say free R. Kelly. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That's a huge contradiction. You can't talk about Jeffrey Epstein and say free R. Kelly. Why? Because he made some good music? No, that is not how it works. So I just hope that this man could get some help, and he could still be an indigo child if that thing is actually real. He does fit a lot of the criteria for it. He could just be lost, and this is not the path that he wants to go down if he wants to make a change, make a difference in the world. He needs to get his head clear. If you're going to be a leader, you can't be a leader and you have a crack pipe in your mouth. You got to put that crack pipe down. Unless you want to be like Hitler, because I think he was on meth. You want to be that kind of leader? No, we don't need that. We need leaders that's going to help us to thrive. We need leaders that's going to actually give us knowledge and facts and just speak on it. Don't speak in code or talk in gibberish. Just speak your damn mind. That's one thing I liked about Jaguar Wright when she was talking. She would just speak and talk and just say what she had to say. I haven't watched anything recent from her, so I don't know if she's changed how she talks, but everything she was saying was like coherent to me, and it made sense. Not that I agree with every single thing she said, no, but at least it made sense. The things I can't even remember everything. I didn't even write everything down because I was like a deer in a headlight. I couldn't even stop. I couldn't even look away from. I'm like, wow. And like I said, reading the comments, I'm like, all these people are like, yeah, he's speaking fat, he's talking code. It's like, whew. Don't be so gullible. It's so easy to control people that are gullible, that don't question things. You have to question everything, including what I say. Question everything that you hear from everyone. Don't let people just tell you stuff and talk crazy to you. And he's right in a sense that Takeoff is his father, and not his father, but him. Because like I said at one point, yeah, we are all connected. We are all a part of the creator. Creator is omnipresent, meaning in everything, meaning in all of us. And separation really is an illusion in my beliefs. And that we're here to have this experience. But I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole right now. I think what do they call it? Not self-discovery, but I can't think of, well, see, this is what drugs do to your brain. I can't even think of it. Self-actualization, that's what it's called. Or God actualization. That's like a personal journey. So if you want to learn more about that, look it up and find out for yourself. There's different means to do that. Some people meditate. Some people use psychedelics and things like that. So yeah, I think that people should stay away from things like the hard drugs, the blow, and the cocaina, and the methina. Leave those alone. This is like ayahuasca, DMT. Those are things. Unless you have mental illness, and that might make you have some type of psychotic break. But I would like to do those things. I think those are enlightening. I think they're more high frequency, and they help you to feel a sense of unity amongst everything. But the other things kind of are more ego-centered. And it's good to explore these things. It's almost like going on a trip, but it's not something that you do every single day. I have not done shrooms in like years. It's probably been like 5 years or something like that. But yeah. So yeah, I'm going to get up off of here because I got it off my chest, what I want to say. And pray for Orlando Brown, his protection and his health, and just hopes that he gets better, his health, and that he can get the help that he needs and not completely lose his mind, because in my opinion, I believe he is losing his mind. I don't think that he is well. I really don't. And hopefully he gets help.